What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Welcome to the Doc Days podcast, hosted by Zach and Jack.
Yeah, episode 1, man. This is gonna be great.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Zach.
Jack and Zach. Like I said, I always wanted to do a podcast. I think it'd be exciting.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be fun. I listen to podcasts every day when I'm on the road. It's always just guys who are just sitting there talking.
Nobody's ever gonna listen to this.
No, nobody's ever gonna listen to this. There's no like.
But I don't care if anybody ever does listen.
No,
like I think it'll just be fun.
Yeah, and I think the cool part about it is that we're just doing it for ourselves. So like with having no expectations, we're just gonna be able to
it's cool.
Rattle these off and have a good time doing them.
It's just cool for us to get together like once a week at least.
Yeah,
just sit and talk.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I definitely like. I wrote down some of my goals that I have. I wrote down 10 goals that I had for myself, and one of them was spending more time on my friends and my family, and putting more of an emphasis on experiences. And what a better experience than to do a podcast with my best friend.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of, I think we should. Well, first off, this is not a green screen for anybody who's wondering. Yeah, if somebody's watching,
it might look like it, but we're actually out on Lake Norman out in North Carolina. This is my family's property. And we're fortunate enough to have such a beautiful location to do these podcasts in.
Yep. I was gonna say, the first thing we should tell probably is the story how we became friends.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one because when we met, you and I were nothing alike. Talk about two polar opposites. I was like this skinny, like super nerdy kid, like. I liked baseball. So we met through baseball at UC San Diego. We got there when we were freshmen and lived together there. But when I got there, I was like this, like I said, this skinny, really weird, like totally focused on academics, like just not your standard baseball player or athlete in general. I was very much had a bit of a stick up my ass.
So, what's the opposite? Are you saying I'm the opposite of that?
Yeah. Oh.
Does that make me a dickhead?
No, but you were definitely more like Joe Cool. Like when we got there, like you definitely ran with like the cool kids on the team.
I mean.
Oh, for sure.
I guess, but.
Yeah, but it wasn't. But you not like because you were a dickhead, just because your interests were like theirs.
Yeah.
Like you and I had like nothing in common when we got to San Diego. Nothing.
No, we didn't. But so. We lived kind of together in summer session.
Yeah.
And we weren't really friends much.
No,
we lived in the same like suite thing, but so summer session was a month for the people that don't know.
Yeah.
It was a month that all the freshman baseball players at UCSD. We went there and just kind of got used to the school and took a couple summer classes, started lifting, all that stuff, and then the real first quarter, UCSD was on quarter system.
Yeah.
I know that's terrible. The first quarter. This was 2019.
Yeah, 2019. This was right before COVID.
Yeah, right before COVID. So 2019, I think the first quarter probably fall quarter probably started like the end of September-ish.
Yeah, it was.
Like that.
Yeah, well, because we moved into our place on my birthday.
That's right, the 18th,
yeah.
September 18th. Yeah. So.
And then it was like 2 weeks, and then classes started.
Yeah. So then, at UCSD, for those who don't know. There are, I think, 7 colleges.
Yeah, now there's 7. There used to be 6 when we went.
And what that means is there's 7 different colleges
within the university.
So it's really weird how they do that, but so 7 different colleges.
Yeah,
within the
and the crappy part was that you and I were the only 2 baseball players in our actual college.
Yep.
So
ours happened to be the hardest one.
Oh yeah, one of. I mean, it was I think Revelle and Eleanor Roosevelt were the 2 hardest.
Yeah. We were in ERC.
That was rough. That was really rough. Talk about some long night studying.
It was. Well, for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You would study for an hour and you learned as much as I did in 8 hours.
That was really honestly that morning was really funny because you had pulled an all-nighter studying for this exam. And I woke up that morning. I went to bed whenever I went to bed. I woke up the next morning pretty early because you were like, "Oh, I want to study this with you." And I read over it twice.
And I knew it better than I did.
I knew it better than you did. I was rattling off all these terms. You were just sitting there like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I was. I have a bad memory when it comes to school.
Yeah,
Mostly when it comes to things that or subjects that I don't really care about.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be blessed with photographic memory, so I whenever I see.
Okay, I don't know if you have a photographic memory.
It's so what you're thinking of is eidetic memory.
What's that?
Eidetic memory is when everything you see you remember. Photographic memory is that you see in pictures, or like when you think about things, you see things in images. So when I sit there and when I read text off the screen, instead of sitting there thinking of the actual words, I see a picture of the words.
Got it.
So that's how I think, and that's how like I see the world when I'm remembering things.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. An eidetic memory is when the switch for your brain that filters stuff off, like filters irrelevant stuff out, that switch isn't there. So when you see things like take for example this scenery back here, if you were to look out there, you would be able to see it for the rest of your life in perfect detail, down to where all the boats are placed. You'd be able to count the trees, or you'd be able to draw an exact outline of the trees from memory.
Damn.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Lord knows I can't.
But anyway, where were we? So, when we met.
Yeah.
So we were forced to live together because we were the only two kids in our college.
Yes.
So we were forced to live. Only two baseball players in our college. So we were forced to live together. It wasn't a bad thing.
No, not at all. It wasn't a bad thing. It was a really interesting time, though.
I'll
tell you what, it was. I think we had the most culturally diverse dorm situation out of anyone in the country.
Yes.
It was you, me, Derek, who was an Asian kid from the Bay, mostly spoke Mandarin. I think his family was from China originally.
We don't have to say everybody's name.
Yeah. And then we had a kid from India, we had a kid from Mexico, we had a kid from South Korea, we had two kids from China, and we had a full-blood Turkish guy from Chicago. But his parents were originally from Turkey, so he was a cool dude. Loved.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys were super.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We hung out with them. We don't really see them much anymore, but
no.
I still talk to Tunch and
oh, do you?
occasionally. Yeah, I'll occasionally hit up Jimmy.
Cool. Well, but so, I don't even know how we became friends because we didn't even. Well, here's how we became friends. We were forced to hang out with each other.
Yeah.
And we didn't dislike each other ever. We just had no similar interests, so it was hard for us to kind of get along. Get along.
Initially, all we really had was baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even at the time, you and I didn't even have like similar political views.
No.
Like we were super different when we got there, and then as the years went by, and like as we spent more and more time together, our personalities kind of like blended.
They did.
And now it's like, we'll go out to bars and stuff, and we'll be talking to people who are like, dude, it sounds like you guys have known each other your whole lives. You guys are just like you guys are just like the same person.
I know.
Not like exactly the same. I
feel like we're very similar but very different.
Yeah, I would for sure say we are very similar but very different.
Yep.
I think that's a perfect way to put it. But anyways, after UC San Diego, COVID happened, so our year got cut short.
Well, I'll tell my side first.
All right.
So, my freshman year at UCSD, after the fall, I was that last game against Fullerton. I started, with the starting lineup, so I was like, okay, probably gonna play a lot, as a freshman, which was cool. And then for some reason, when we came back in the winter in January, I just could not hit, dude. Like I couldn't hit. Like I was not doing well in school or on the field, so I didn't play much. And mentally, I was just not doing good. I don't know why. I was depressed. I mean, I was just not doing good, and I just really was like already thinking about leaving,
Yeah.
And that was just the young version of me. Like when I was barely 18 years old. I turned 18 when we were there.
Yeah.
And that was just the young version of me, I think, not knowing how to handle adversity really.
Yeah, I think that was also something that bonded us quite a lot. Because I went through a very similar struggle where I was hurt when I got there, and I stayed hurt pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
I was constantly fighting injuries. School started off good, but I ended up getting a girlfriend that ended up being like just a really bad relationship for me, and took me away from baseball, took me away from school. I was basically living with her.
Yeah.
And like I was just not in a good place when I got done at UC San Diego. I was actually in a really bad place.
So then halfway through the season, COVID happened. Or not even halfway, probably. Like halfway. COVID happened, March, 2020.
Yeah.
So we all got sent home, and that's when I decided I was going to go to Delta, which is a junior college.
Yeah.
Up in
Stockton, California.
Stockton, California.
And I actually was not. I was actually adamant. I was I wasn't. Well.
You were adamant about staying.
I was gonna stay until I had a a Zoom conference with the coaching staff, and they basically told me that like I would never play there, and like the ideas that I had on like how to get my body fixed and my mind right, like they were like, that's never gonna work, like your philosophy just isn't even correct. And at that point, like they spent like 30 minutes like getting in on me, and I was like, after that I was like, I'm not going back there. And they had said like, they said that we could do like a tryout in the fall, but if it didn't work out, I wasn't gonna be on the team in the spring. And I was like, well, what am I gonna go back and do that for?
Right.
Like, why not just go to junior college? Like,
you made
it. Hit the reset. Oh, for sure, it was the right decision to leave. But I actually was adamant about not going to Delta right out the gate. I was like stone cold set. I was either gonna go to Sierra College or Folsom.
Yeah.
Sierra College got ruled out really quickly, but it ended up being between Delta and Folsom. And the reason I didn't want to go to Delta was because a lot of the guys I played high school baseball with went to Delta, and it was a lot of the guys that I initially was not very big fans of when I was in high school. Just being a guy who doesn't really fit the mold of a baseball team anywhere you go.
Well, Delta, for people who are listening who don't know, it's a top 5 JC program in California, probably top 10 in the nation.
The easy way to put it is that Delta transfers more baseball players to Division I's and professional baseball than any other school in the nation.
Yep.
Period.
The year I transferred out in 2022, we had, I think, like 14 Division I.
I think
might have been more.
I think it was more than that, but I know we transferred almost everyone.
So we had we had like 18 people go from Delta in the same year to a Division I school.
And it's not like we were sending them to like these no-name Division I's. I mean, we're talking LSU, Fullerton. We sent D-Rod to Oklahoma, right? Or no, not Oklahoma.
No, not that year.
That was the following year. You're right. But, I mean, we're sent like. But this program sends guys to Power 5 programs, and it's like not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like if you're even halfway decent on that team, you're going to Power 5.
Right.
Because that's just.
I mean, I wouldn't say going to Power 5, but you're going to a good Division school.
Yeah, legit Division. That's probably a better way to put it.
Yeah. For sure. So anyway, so you decided to go to Delta.
Yeah, I
convinced you.
Because you were like, dude, you gotta come to Delta. I was like, dude, I'm not going there. Like, I won't go. And you were like, can you at least just take a phone call with them? Like, just call them and ask about them. I called the head coach, Skip, and then at the time we had Joey Skrasic.
Shout out Skip.
Yeah, at the time Joey Skrasic was a pitching coach who ended up leaving after that year to go coach for the Twins. And after I heard their pitch, I was like, nah, I can't go anywhere else. This place is awesome.
Delta's.
And while Skrasic was there, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was everything I could ask for and more. And then when he wasn't there, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the gig with
that's
baseball.
That's besides the point.
Yeah, that's not relevant to our story at all.
Back on track. So we move.
Oh,
we go to Delta together. What?
There's a little RC plane flying around.
Oh yeah.
That's sick.
That's sick.
Anyways.
So we both go to Delta. Him and I lived together because we were the only. Well, I knew one person from high school.
You knew Griff.
But
he was living by himself.
He was living with somebody else already.
He was living with Lance, wasn't he?
I don't remember. He was gonna live with somebody else. I don't remember what the story was.
He ended up having a solo apartment.
He did have a solo apartment. Anyway, we ended up living together. And that's when we really became friends.
Oh yeah, I mean, we lived together at UCSD, but like there were other people there. This was like just us in an apartment, and we just had to figure it out.
Yep.
Like it was either gonna like turn into a really good friendship or it was going to completely fall apart. But luckily, you and I have very similar living habits, so I think that definitely helped us. Like,
well, all we did was play poker.
Yeah, oh God, we played.
All we did was literally, because that was still during COVID. That was the 2020-2021 school year.
Yeah.
And all of our classes were online, so we would just do our online school, eat, go work out, practice. We didn't even play that year.
No, we would just inter-squad on weekends.
We would just come home and play poker with our group.
Oh my God, dude.
Wait, no. Speaking of our similar living habits, I'm gonna expose this. I've grown quite a bit since this, but do you remember the sink?
I knew that's what you were gonna say. Yes, we left dishes in the sink for like. I want to say
2 months.
I want to say it was 2 months. Cause I was gonna say 1 month. I was like, no, it's definitely longer than a month. We left like dirty dishes in the sink for 2 months because we just didn't want to.
We were just so lazy.
We just didn't want to do. We just didn't want to do the dishes. So finally, the smell got so bad that one day we had to just like we have to clean this.
So we got those freaking gloves,
the huge rubber gloves. Like I was wearing a mask. Like I was just like, I would see like all this mold.
No, it was so moldy. Dude.
It was just mold everywhere. We had to throw out like half the stuff in that sink.
We threw out like half the.
We threw out so much stuff.
It was so disgusting.
Oh my God, it was so gross.
But that was like the epitome of our.
I think that was like that was one of the like defining moments of our first year, and just I think that really just showcased like what that first year was like.
We were like, we can't do that again. Oh. So instead of getting more proactive and doing the dishes, we decided to get paper plates, and we got all of our silverware.
No, that wasn't until the second year. No,
originally
we just had our silverware, but the second year we forgot to bring silverware. Mm-hmm. So what we would do is we would go to Chipotle, and we would take all the forks, all the knives, and all the spoons out of the tray. Like literally, it would be one and then the other. You'd get your bag, and then at this Chipotle, you would like the station where you'd fill up your drinks and get all your utensils. Yeah. Like, you couldn't see it from. Like, you could kind of see it, but not really.
Yeah, but we would always just do it anyway. Like, we would literally take the whole tin.
Oh my God, we would take
knives and spoons.
We had a drawer just
a drawer full with stuff. And whenever we get low, we'd be like, all right, we gotta go Chipotle.
One of us would look at the other person and be like, hey, it's time to hit a lick. And we'd go to Chipotle,
I guess it's not technically stealing.
I mean, we're abusing. It's not illegal. It's just frowned upon.
Right. It was not illegal. It was just frowned upon. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we took a lot of utensils from that Chipotle.
Yeah, we did.
I still do it to this day.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, every now and again, dude.
What?
Like I just walk in Chipotle and I see him sit. Like I see all the utensils sitting there. I go, old time's sake, baby. Just grab a couple of them.
I've changed quite a bit. I actually live in a home and I do my dishes and silverware.
I still have my utensils. I still do my dishes and all that stuff. But like I also actually stopped going to Chipotle recently. So this is actually this was before when I was going multiple times a week. It was like last summer. I was going multiple times a week. Like big Chipotle fan, and then the quality dropped off so much. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Good. Yeah, I had it the other day. I went and got it the other day, and it was better, but they still skimp me on the portions.
Do they?
Yeah. It's really hit or miss with who you get, and that's actually a big reason why I started going to Moe's and Qdoba.
I like Moe's.
Love Moe's.
I like Moe's a lot.
Yeah, it's just the problem is that it's a consistent size. It's just never gonna be like those massive burritos that you could get at Chipotle back in the day.
No, it won't. No, you're right.
They used to load you up.
I guess another thing we could talk about to expand on our friendship is how the hell did this?
Oh yeah.
People are probably wondering why are you in North Carolina
and not in California?
And not in California.
So
go ahead and tell how you got here, and I'll tell.
Yeah. So I moved out here with my family. After our first year at Delta, I moved out here with my family, and then I went back to Delta for another year. But I was out here, living here, and
we were both at Delta for 2 years.
Yeah, we were both at Delta for 2 years, and the way I ended up staying out here is after my second year at Delta, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to play baseball anymore. Like, I really had a bad taste in my mouth from how things ended up at Delta. And my dad was like, dude, you can't let your last experience with baseball be like a crappy one. You gotta like go play softball, go have fun. So I signed up with this team in the Old North State League called the Lexington Flying Pigs.
Flying Pigs, I remember that.
So I would go play for this team, and I was killing it. I mean, I had a game where I threw 6 innings with 14 strikeouts. Now, granted, at the time the league was still growing, so the competition wasn't like top tier, and even now, like it's a good summer ball conference playing, but it's not like anything crazy. It's mostly younger Division I guys and a lot of Division II and Division III players that go to this league and play. So but at the time it was like mostly lower end Division II, Division III guys, and I went out there and I was just like carving. And I was like, well, crap, maybe I should keep playing baseball. Maybe I should keep doing this. So I mean, I can't just go out and throw this well and say, no, I want to be done.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting 88 to 90, scraping some ones occasionally. So I ended up getting recruited by a couple schools. I ended up going to Wingate University, it's Division II here in the Charlotte area. Hated that. That was a complete mistake.
Yeah.
So I ended up that time again. I was like, oh, I'm not playing baseball anymore. It wasn't. I wasn't gonna play baseball. I wasn't gonna play college baseball.
Right.
I went and trained at Tread Athletics. Shout out Tread, awesome facility. I'd do it all over again. They're the reason I got to 92. Like hands down, no doubt about it. Great facility. I trained there for a while. My coach was like, hey man, like you should think about going back to college for a semester to get some innings, because at the time I had 14 career innings in 4 years of baseball, not counting all the inter squads we did and stuff like that during the COVID years. Because I mean, we played more than a full schedule our first year at Delta. Oh, for sure.
I don't think so, dude.
We were playing minimum 3 inter squads a week.
I don't think we played more than a full schedule.
I think we definitely did.
I mean,
it would have been really close. Because we started earlier and ended later than a normal schedule would have lasted. We started way earlier because we were playing in January. We were playing 3 games a week from like January on.
This is gonna sound stupid, but I think we played about half the season, and I'll tell you why. I hit 3 home runs during that thing, during our like non-season season.
That's fair.
And I feel like I was hitting home runs as consistently as I did the year we played.
And you hit
at 8.
Yeah, you hit a lot of. I mean, that's pretty good.
It's whatever.
It's a pretty good amount of home runs.
40 games. But
not to mention the one game where you hit a home run from both sides of the plate.
That was crazy.
That was
cool.
That
was
was
probably the coolest
sick
thing I've
to
done.
watch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's the coolest thing you've done. It's
in
up
baseball.
there. Oh, in baseball for sure, it's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're doing so much outside of baseball. That's,
oh yeah.
I think it's way cooler.
For sure. So I guess this episode could be titled Our Baseball Story.
I mean, dude, we've been all over the place. We've been talking about how you and I met, how we're out in North Carolina, which you actually got to get into how you made your way out here.
So I guess that'll kind of tag along with my baseball story. So we know the whole UCSD story. Whatever. I go to Delta. That Delta team is freaking loaded.
Oh my god, so good.
Unbelievable the year we got there. I was playing a good amount, but I had to go back to Delta for second year because I couldn't get my AA degree. And when you transfer from a 4-year school to a 2-year school back to a 4-year school, you have to get your AA.
Yes.
To transfer back to a 4-year. So I had to stay there for 2 years. And after that first year, I went and I got the opportunity to go play in the Appalachian League.
Yeah, up in Bristol.
Up in Bristol, which is 3 hours from here.
Yeah, about.
Bristol, Virginia / Tennessee. And it was brand new the first year that year, and it was ran by MLB USA Baseball. So I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, this is a good opportunity for me.
Yeah, talk about a great league to go play in, full of some of the top talent. Like outside of the Cape, that year it was some of the top talent that you could get outside of the Cape.
And it was after my second year of school, and most people there were either sophomores or freshmen. After their freshman year, after their sophomore year. There's some guys going into their freshman year, but I mean, every single day I played against, half the lineup was from Power 5 school, So it was really fun for me because that was the first time that I really got to go play against like top tier talent, and I did really well, really well. So then, after that, I started getting. I mean, I probably was talking to. This is all in the past, so who cares now? But
I'm talking to good.
2021 in the fall when we went back to Delta, I was probably talking. I probably was in talks with 14 D1 schools, something like that.
And it was. I mean, we're not talking like just like a mid-major D1. There were some legit schools. There were some legit schools mixed in there.
There were.
It was top end mid-majors and a couple. I think you had a couple Power 5s reach out.
Maybe one. I don't even remember at this point. But anyway, let the pressure get to my head. Played like absolute crap the entire fall.
I remember that too. I remember you'd come back to the apartment and just be like, I don't understand. I can't hit.
Yeah,
and then you get on
the
VR headset.
Yep.
You'd sit there and you just watch pitches. And
well, no, that was I know you're about to talk about. That was the year before.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was actually really funny though.
So anyway, long story short, all those schools stopped talking to me because I was doing so bad.
Yeah.
And then I was basically starting from ground zero. I mean, not ground zero, but
people knew who you were.
People knew who I was.
Everyone was kind of waiting to see what you would do in the spring.
Yeah, people were trying to see what I would do. So first half of the year, I went nuts.
Oh my God.
I went nuts. I mean, I was leading after like 15 games-ish, 20 games. It might have been 20, might be too many, but we'll say 15. I mean, I was leading the whole state in slugging percent, like all the categories.
Yeah, it was absurd just watching you go up to the plate. It was like, well, here comes another hit.
So Coastal came to watch me, Coastal Carolina, and
that was the game.
That was a school that I wanted to go to since high school when they won the national championship.
That was the game you hit home run from both sides of the plate, wasn't it?
They were supposed to be there that day.
Oh, that's right.
They were supposed to be there.
And then their flight got delayed or something.
Yeah, they were supposed to be there the day that I hit a homer from both sides of the plate, but they came the next day and went 0 for 4.
And it started your 0 for everything
0 for 21 with 13 lineouts and 1 strikeout. So it was just the most unlucky thing ever.
It was
right.
It was
but anyway,
absurd.
So long story short, Coastal offered me just a roster spot. If they would have been there when I hit the 200, would it have changed anything? I have no idea. It doesn't matter. Maybe not. It really doesn't matter. But I decided to take the chance. I had a couple other schools that were thinking about offering, but I wanted to take the chance because that's somewhere I'd always wanted to go. I thought it'd be the coolest thing ever. I wanted to come back out to the South. Coastal's in Myrtle Beach, so I was like, screw it, man, I'm gonna do it. And me and another kid on the team both committed to Coastal, and so from Delta. So all right, cool, it'll be fun. So anyway, play like absolute crap the second half of that season after I committed. And it was not because I started working less hard.
No, it was just,
I was working harder, if anything.
It was
the pressure just got to my head, and that 0 for 21 definitely hurt me so bad. Because then I started thinking, what are they thinking? They're looking at me doing so bad. They probably think I'm like not working hard anymore. So I let that get to my head. I was overthinking that. Instead of, in hindsight, if I just went out there and I was like, man, I'm good enough. There's a reason that I'm going to Coastal Carolina. There's a reason I'm this and that. I would have been fine, right? So long story short, played terrible the second half of the season. I go back to Bristol, play for the State Liners again for the summer. It's 2022, and I play for the first month, and I do so bad. I hit like $1 something. I hit under the Mendoza line, so I hit under 200, and I got another concussion. So,
well, that was also when you got COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I've had COVID like 4 times.
Yeah, you're professional in getting it.
And so the reason my career ended was because of, the reason I stopped playing was because I had so many concussions.
Yeah.
I had 2 within a month in May of 2022, the end of the year at Delta. I had one basically 2 months later on July 4th, and then I got hit in the face in September when I was at Coastal, and I didn't say anything about it. I think I was fine, but who knows. And then I got another one in March of 2023. That was the last time I ever played. I'll talk about that in a second. But, so anyway, so I go to Coastal. So I get that concussion July 4th.
Yeah.
When I'm in Bristol. I decided I'm going to be done for the summer because I got COVID at the same time. They were going to make me sit in a hotel for 10 days, all this crap. So I was like, screw that. So I drove the 3 hours, and I stayed at your grandparents' house for two rows down for a month.
Yeah, it might have been even a little more than a month. You were here for a while.
For a whole month, my entire life was wake up, work out, hit, and then we came and served.
Oh, yeah, I mean, because that was the summer where I was working at a golf course. Mm-hmm. So I was like, it was like whenever I wasn't working, it was, hey, we're taking the boat out, we're gonna go surf. Yep. Like we're just gonna sit out here and enjoy.
That summer was
awesome weather.
Like the most fun. So it was then that I decided, like, man, I love it here, and I liked it.
And it was
weather-wise, people-wise, everything. I just liked it more than California. So I was like, I wanted to be here.
And it was hilarious because up until that point, I had been trying to convince you, like, dude, this place is like, this is it. Like, you need to move here. And you'd be like, I mean, yeah, it's cool because you would come and visit before.
For like 3 days.
Yeah, you've been here for a couple days at a time, but you were like, yeah, I mean, it's cool, but I'm gonna live in California until I die, man. Like that's just my place.
Yeah, I did.
And then you lived out here for a month, and when you were getting ready to go home, you looked at me and you're like, dude, I gotta live here. It's like I have to. I can't. I
fell in love with it. So anyway,
and that's actually something that you have in common with a lot of our friends who come out and my family's friends who come out here and visit. Every time we get friends coming from the West Coast out here to visit, they fall in love with this place, even if it's just a weekend.
Well, like my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Your girlfriend willing to move out here because she loves it so much from California. That in and of itself is another story.
I might have something to do with it too.
Maybe I don't know about all that.
I'm kidding, Audrey.
That's a story for another time. We were already chugging along on this podcast.
I know. But anyway, so go to Coastal. Do not amazing, but really well.
But you were leading
in the fall.
You were leading the team on base percentage, weren't you?
Yes. But I mean, big deal. Yeah. You know, I wasn't hitting for power. I mean, I hit one home run, but
on base percentage means a lot.
I mean,
in the new age of baseball, it means more than it did.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
And I'll talk about this now on a video because I mean my career's over. So,
yeah.
But I'll never forget it. It was October 15th. We played a scrimmage against the Citadel down in Charleston, South Carolina. We go home. Next day, dude shows up.
The Elon kid.
And then he was an outfielder. And I was like, oh, shit. Next day, we all have our exit meetings. And, again, I'm not going to talk too much because I know it's long in the past, and I haven't had any ill will against them since I got cut. But anyway, I have my exit meeting. I go in the meeting. Head coach asked me how my fall went. You know, I told him, and he said he agreed. And I was honest. I said, yeah, I think I did okay. I did well. You know, I stayed true to who I was. Whatever. And he was just basically like, long story short, he didn't feel like he could trust me to perform because of my performance previously during that year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did so bad the second half of the year at Delta and during the summer. And so he was like, I just can't afford to keep you. I'm sorry. And I was like, damn. Like that, dude, that crushed me. Like
I remember when you called me, I was like, oh my God.
No, I mean, like, for lack of a better way to put it, like that crushed my soul. Because my whole life, everything I have been working for was to get the opportunity to go play at a cool D1 school and be a part of that. And dude, the 2 months that I was on the team in the fall, I was living the dream.
Oh, dude, when I came and I would come and visit you regularly, and it was like, oh my God, this is so sick.
Everything from showing up in the morning to weights to going to class to going to the bar with the teammates. It was just the most, like, it was my dream life. It really was, and I was just so grateful, so happy to live it. And when it got stripped away from me, I was like, damn. I kind of fell out of love with baseball in that moment. So anyway, I decided I'm going to go back home and continue playing. I go to Cal State Monterey Bay, which is a D2, about 30 minutes from my house in California. Play for a month, get a concussion, and doctors basically say, if you want to do anything outside of baseball, you need to stop. So my career ended that day. The concussion symptoms lasted like a month and a half that time, so I knew it was definitely time to be done. And when my semester ended there, moved here, got my real estate license a couple months ago, and I'm just, I'm on my duplex, and I'm just getting started in real estate and investing and stuff, and I still work at a restaurant just to pay the bills, and a good restaurant, but
it's not like you're working at McDonald's. You're like
No.
you're working at a very nice restaurant where you're crushing it.
So that's my quick baseball story, and I could talk about, as you could, my baseball story for 3 hours probably.
God. Yeah, I mean
so long story short, I knew whenever my career was over, I wanted to be here. My baseball career, I wanted to be here, start my life here, because everything's so much cheaper too. It's so much easier to get my life started.
We complain about gas being $3 a gallon here.
I know, exactly. So, it's just cool to. I don't know. I love it here, man. I've been here I moved here in June of last year, so 7 months plus. Been about 10 months now.
Yeah.
Been about 10 months. So we're coming up on a year, which is really cool.
I mean, yeah, dude, it's been.
And nothing short of loved it. Do I miss my family and everything? Yeah, but everybody's got to leave the nest at some point.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's been awesome to have you out here, dude, and to see your transition from baseball to not baseball, it's
been interesting, man.
It's been interesting, but it gives me the confidence that when it's my time to put them away, it's like I'm gonna be all right. Because for a while I really struggled with this whole dude, if I don't play baseball, what am I gonna do with my life? I had no idea what I was doing.
There's so much you can do, and the more that I have gotten out of, and we got to cut it off here soon.
Yeah, we're running dark. We're running out of daylight, but I'm sure this podcast is already an hour.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
probably 30 minutes. But
we've been sitting here for
I don't know. But the last thing I'll say on the matter is when I was involved in college baseball and all that, it was so the glory of making it to the major leagues and having all that money was so consuming.
Yeah.
And I'm still a big advocate for not living the normal life, because I do everything short of living a normal life. You know?
For sure.
But I'm kind of out of that fantasy of trying to it's a culture of you want to be glorified, right? And you don't realize it until you step out of it. And now that I'm out of it, I can see life for what it is so much better, and see kind of how toxic, honestly, that environment was as a human being. It's cool to still achieve something that almost nobody can do.
Yeah.
Anybody who makes it to the big leagues, anybody who plays high level D1 baseball, you're achieving something not very many people can do, which is the coolest thing ever to me. But at the same time, now that I'm out of it, I'm able to see that's not everything.
Yeah,
and to the people that are in the big leagues and that are playing high level D1 baseball, that's sick.
Oh,
that's still
dude,
cool as hell.
Props to them. It's
unbelievably hard, right? But at the same time, for me, now that I'm out of it, I'm okay with not being that, because I realize that as a human being, and as I'm spiritual, so as when it comes to my soul, being glorified by others doesn't matter.
And I definitely think my experience on it has been interesting, especially this year, because this is the first year where I've got stuff outside of baseball going on in my life. I've got my foot in a couple different doors right now.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of launching a company. I'm still playing college baseball, still working on my degree. I have very active social life with a lot of different people around the Charlotte area. I do a lot of different things. I get to meet a lot of different people, and now that I kind of have that, I have so much else going on outside of baseball. When I sit back and take a look at it, I'm like, okay, what is it like to be in a college baseball locker room? What is it like to be with a team of college baseball players every single day? And
exactly.
When you really boil it down, all you do is talk about girls. You give each other shit.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about baseball.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really
that's maybe you talk about fishing and hunting.
Being part, it's fun.
It's great.
Being a part of a college baseball team is literally just you wake up, you work hard, obviously, but it's just constantly effing around.
Oh, totally. You're especially as a pitcher.
There's no like.
Yeah. You guys have to work a lot harder than we do because we sit out in the outfield and you guys taking BP and we're just screwing around.
If anybody's like, I was an outfielder.
Yeah.
So I was a position player.
And I'm a left-handed pitcher. So, I mean, when I talk about like doing nothing, we do a lot of nothing. We sit there and talk shop for hours just doing nothing.
Yeah, you do.
But it's like, in that time, it's like all you do is you talk about girls, talk about baseball, you give each other shit. Like it's
nothing intellectual, nothing about business.
And I've tried. Yeah. What's been interesting is that I've tried to work in the business conversations to my teammates. Some of them will bite, some of them will, and I didn't. It was a couple that I didn't expect either. Mm-hmm. Some will bite on it and they'll ask questions, but they're still like the questions are not like when you and I sit down, or me and my buddy Tyler sit down, who I'm launching my company with. Like when we sit down, we have like hours and hours of conversations about different services, products, business ideas. I mean, we could be sat down all day and talk about it. Whereas, I talk to my teammates, and I love my teammates to death. Like, there's no other way around it. I love these guys. They're awesome. They're some of my greatest friends that I have. Like, these are friendships that I will cherish for the rest of my life. But when I talk to them, it's maybe 2 minutes of business talk, and then all of a sudden it's back to other things that just, are different, which is totally cool. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just a completely different world to be in, and having my foot in multiple doors has been really eye-opening to be like, man, like, how much time do I spend talking about things that don't even really get me anywhere? Like I'm not progressing myself as a human. I'm not progressing in business. Like I'm not making any progress in the conversations that I'm having. So now what I've actually started doing is I carry a little notebook. I don't have it on me. It's up in the car, but I carry a little notebook around with me when I'm at the games and stuff.
I've wanted to start doing that too.
Dude, and it's cool because it's like I take it with me everywhere I go. It's always in the car. It's always in my pocket. If I'm at a game, it's in my pocket. If I'm at a bar, it's in my pocket. You never know when an idea is going to strike. And I've had a couple ideas where I'm like, oh, crap, that's a really good idea. Write it down. Draw it out, write it down, make some diagrams if I feel like I need to. Put it back in my pocket. And I mean, it's not just ideas. Like I put my goals in there, or like I journal a little bit in it. But like the idea journal has been a huge thing for me because it's turned wasted time into productive time. Mm-hmm. And it's cool because I have all these different ideas, and I may never ever take these ideas into fruition.
Of course.
But like I'm training my mind, and I'm not good at it right now. By any means, I'm not good. My notebook is not that full. I think it's like 10 pages, maybe. It's probably a lot. It's probably less than that. But it's like, but I'm training my mind to think of ideas and to actually log those ideas, to see the world and be like, oh, there's this problem. How do I solve this problem?
100%.
So, and another big thing
I would say that's kind of the shift from, because we're like, yes, we're like 23 and 22-year-old dudes that are idiots and like do stupid stuff.
We do,
right?
We do some really dumb stuff.
At the same time, we're both very intelligent, and we're both very into intellectual things and business and stuff like that. So that's way cooler to me.
Yeah, I'm starting to appreciate it more as I've been dabbling in it more. But what I was going to say right before that, no, you're good. Oh, I don't even remember what I was going to say.
Shit.
That's not ideal.
My bad.
No, you're good. It was about the drum. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So something else that I've been trying to get in the habit of is when I'm out with friends, I'll ask somebody, I'll be like, what's one problem that you have in your life that you don't have a solution for? And like I asked my mom this one day, and she was like, oh, like I don't have a good way to pick up leaves in the yard. And I was like, well, why?
I remember this.
And she talks about these flimsy little things that you can get at Lowe's, but they're flimsy. They don't work well. She was like, I want a sturdy one. I want the exact same design or a very similar design, just a sturdier one. And I was like, okay, like let me think about this. And I workshopped it out. I've got a full design ready to make this thing for my mom. I just A, haven't gotten around to it. B, don't have access to a welder super readily available. I mean, I have access to some welders if I pull some strings, but I don't have access to actually fabricate this stuff right off the get.
Yeah.
But I think that getting in this habit of asking people, like, what problems do you have in your life that you don't have, that there's not a solution for, that there's not a product for, and it's been cool. I've got some really unique, interesting perspectives from people. Like, it doesn't matter. It could be my mom, it could be you, it could be a girl I'm talking to at a bar. Like, it could be anyone. And sometimes, like, these ideas are really good, or like these problems are really good, and the ideas that you can come up with from are amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just and it's all from keeping this little book in my pocket. And I
might start doing that.
I honestly think everyone should do it.
I'm start doing that.
I think if you are somebody who wants to do something, and it could be anything. If you are somebody who comes constantly coming up with ideas, like, oh, that'd be a really good idea, and then 20 seconds later you're like, oh crap, what was that idea? Grab a little notebook. They're like $1 from Walmart. Mm-hmm. And it's a nice little bound notebook, but it's like, I would highly recommend you go pick one up. I think it is the best thing I've done for my life in the past month.
I'll start doing it. It's a good idea.
But I think we're running out of daylight here. I think this is going to be a good time to cut it off.
But I think this was a good first episode.
I think so too. I think.
Okay. Now's where we come up. What's the title of this one going to be?
The title.
Doc Days Podcast.
Episode 1. I think it should just be the story of us.
Okay.
I think that encapsulates what, because I mean, majority of the time we talked about how we became friends, baseball career. I definitely think episode of this podcast got to be the story of us.
Sounds good.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much for anyone who decided to listen to this podcast. Thanks for listening. I'm sure there's probably none of you, but
maybe we'll blow up in like a year from now, and people will go see what.
Yeah, that'll be cool if it happens. Which there's millions of podcasts out there, so the odds of it happening are slim to none. But
like I said, we're just doing this because it's fun.
Yeah, we're doing this because we want to hang out more and we want to sit down and actually spend time with each other, which we don't get to do a lot of these days.
Well,
awesome, guys. Thank you so much.